we have an excerpt from chapter 2. The castle is on the very edge of a terrible precipice. A stone falling from the window would fall 1,000 feet without touching anything. As far as the eye can reach is a sea of green treetops, with occasionally a deep rift where there is a chasm. Here and there are silver threads where the rivers wind in deep gorges through the forest. But I am not in heart to describe beauty, for when I had seen the view, I explored further. Doors, doors, doors everywhere, and all locked and bolted. In no place, save from the windows in the castle walls, is there an available exit. The castle is a veritable prison, and I am a prisoner. I think in terms of, literary discussion, I think the sort of juxtaposition is very prominent in this quote. We have two very distinct sections of describing the rich environment around this castle, and then immediately after that, the environment within the castle, which is less so rich and more, horrifying in a sense. It kind of reminds me of, and this might be a little bit silly, but Beauty and the Beast, because you could say that maybe this served as a bit of inspiration, but there is a sort of through line of, someone being a prisoner trapped in a very grandiose place, surrounded by, beauty and maybe not whimsy, but sort of magic and superstition. There are some other comparisons to be drawn, the being trapped in a beautiful place personally sort of reminds me of a lot of outer space narratives. What else has that kind of feeling of fear mixed with wonder? This excerpt is from chapter 3. I was afraid to raise my eyelids, but I looked out and saw perfectly under the lashes. The girl went on her knees and bent over me, simply gloating. There was a deliberate voluptuousness which was both thrilling and repulsive. As she arched her neck, she actually licked her lips like an animal. Lower and lower went her head as the lips went below the range of my mouth and chin and seemed about to fasten on my throat. I closed my eyes in a languorous ecstasy and waited with a beating heart. Well, I think this excerpt really well portrays some of the general common themes behind the larger mythos of vampires. There is a very strong connection between vampires and this general sense of taboo and things that are scary and unallowed and devilish almost. Thrilling and repulsive. Licked her lips like an animal. The ecstasy combined with fear. Much like the last excerpt, I suppose, a sense of wonder and also a sense of dread with, in this case, this temptation, which is very specifically not allowed. If you've been keeping up with, the book and with Dracula Daily and stuff like that, our main character is a married man. So this sort of thing is very, a big point of contention for him. This book was written, I believe, during the 1830s, a very religious time. The sort of more overarching themes throughout the book have to do with resisting this temptation and defeating it, so to speak. That sort of leads itself well to an interesting writing prompt. What is something for you that is tempting yet repulsive and something that you personally have to not only avoid, but invite at the same time?